We're Paddy and Esmée, and this is our dog, Peggy. Having spent the last 2 years sailing with friends and family, we've decided to go all in and become full-time liveaboards.
We're dreaming of sailing across oceans, but our first challenge was to find the right boat. After hundreds of hours of research and a few false starts, we've settled on Moonlighting, a 40-foot offshore cruiser.
She is currently in Plymouth, which is a long way from her new home in Bristol. We will need to sail her around Land's End and brave the wild north coast of Devon and Cornwall to get her here.
This is a big challenge this time of year, with the short days and unpredictable and stormy weather.
We've just handed over the keys to our flat and moved on board a sailing boat. It's taken 6 intense weeks to get Moonlighting ready. Every dark, cold evening spent on board has been counting down to today.
It's been pretty gruelling, but we've managed to tick off nearly all the jobs on our list just in time. We've given the interior a new lease of life by sanding back and painting large areas of the wood white. We've got rid of the old damp headlining and replaced it with wood panelling, taking the opportunity to better insulate as we went. We also restored the aft cabin to its original layout and fitted LED downlighters to make the space feel more modern.
And that's only half the story. We've also had the small task of downsizing our lives. We've sold nearly all our furniture, slimmed down our wardrobes, and taken a lot of our possessions to the Reuse It Centre. It still took ages to load all the remaining stuff on board, but we're now nearly settled and even managed a chilled evening last night. Come for a tour of our sailing boat and full-time home.
On deck, we've got lots of space to store our surfboards and chill out, big lockers to store safety equipment, a deep cockpit to keep us safe in heavy weather, and a super grippy surface to stop us slipping around.
Down below, 6 people can sit for dinner, and there's loads of cupboards, including one dedicated to board games. We have a nice big chart table and all the instruments for navigation at sea, including short and long-range radios and a radar to see obstacles in low visibility. Around here is our galley, complete with oven, fridge and taps for hot, cold, filtered and seawater.
Up front we have our main heads, which doubles as a wet room. Next door we have the fore cabin, which is currently full of stuff, but we hope to use as a guest room.
After the saloon, there are 2 bunks, which are also currently being used as storage, but are perfect to get a good night's rest when the boat is moving. Behind these doors is the engine room. The engine powers the boat when there is no wind, and it also charges our batteries and heats our water.
Finally, right at the back is the main cabin. We've covered all the windows to keep the heat in over winter, so it's super cosy in here, and we have a mini projector to watch movies and TV. We have storage for all our clothes and shoes, and our heater will be fitted under here to keep the whole boat nice and toasty. We also have another heads back here with a draining hanging space for wet weather gear, but as we aren't on the move yet, we use it as a wardrobe.
That's Moonlighting at the end of 2022. We expect her to change a bit over the next year. This is part 2 of how we sailed our new boat 250 miles from Plymouth to Bristol. Having sailed non-stop for more than 20 hours, we rested in Padstow and prepared for our first solo sail on Moonlighting. We set off at first light, full of nervous excitement, but quickly ran into trouble when a shackle on the boom sheared. Fortunately, we were carrying spares, and in the half-dark, on a rolling deck, we managed a quick repair.
Heavy clouds settled on the cliffs as we sped along the Cornish coast towards Ilfracombe. We spent all day pulling our wet weather gear on and off as we were chased down by huge downpours of rain.
Very wet.
It's really wet.
By late afternoon, we reached Ilfracombe and approached the harbour in strong winds. Under the watchful eye of Verity, an imposing sculpture by Damien Hirst, we spent a quiet night dried out in the protection of the harbour.
In the morning, we set off on our final leg to Bristol. With gales forecast in the Bristol Channel, we had to make good time, but tiredness was taking its toll.
What do I come down here for?
We shot along the channel, riding the second largest tide in the world, averaging 10 knots under reef sails, and before we knew it, we were approaching the familiar coastline of Portishead. As the sun set, and on our last legs, we entered the lock into the marina. We felt a huge sense of relief as we slinked into our new berth.
We had made it, and this would be our home for the next few months.